Brothers and sisters, we gather together today in response to the comments made by former President Donald Trump, but we also have a proactive presence because we're advocating for democracy and integrity in this heated election season. Today we call upon the press as a collective body. We call ourselves together as an ecumenical entity to say to all of Detroit's citizens, businesses, and hardworking, respectable citizens that we are here for ourselves, for our own honor, and for our own decency and dignity. Now is the time to call out every faith-based leader, business owner, and government official to denounce the derogatory remarks made by former President Donald John Trump. I quote, "If you elect Kamala Harris, the nation will look like Detroit." The lack of response from the Detroit Economic Club and all other stakeholders in the city of Detroit and the Detroit community is an expression of weak, spineless, asinine complicity with the toxic rhetoric and political bullying of an ex-president whose racism, classism, greed, dogmatism, and all other derogatory matters that concerns his disposition, his male chauvinism, has no boundaries. He is a tasteless, tactless, insipid, and totally anesthetized narcissist who has no regard for decency. We call upon the media and mainstream Detroiters to look like Detroit. The Detroit that stands up and defends its honor, its hardworking citizens, and its rich history. For that matter, if you drive a Ford truck, a Jeep, if you drive a Cadillac Escalade or any other vehicle anywhere in the nation, you look like Detroit. If you wear a Lions jersey, a Red Wings jersey, Detroit Tigers jersey, you look like Detroit. If you drive a vehicle anywhere in the world, you look like Detroit. And we came together to say to Detroiters that we are together. We will defend our honor, we will defend our integrity, and we will not take this laying down. In the words of the late Sammy Davis Jr. in this now famous song, "Hello Detroit," you're a fighter, you're a lover, you're strong and you recover from whatever gets you down. And there's so many reasons. Anytime, any season is the right time to be with you. Hello, Detroit. You've won my heart, your Renaissance and your waterfronts. Give you a flair and flair of your own. Irresistible you. Hug and kissable you. You're alive with so much feeling. And we will always be there for you. We will always say a little prayer for you. And we'll always care for you. Hello, Detroit.
Good morning to each of you. I'm Pastor Richard White III, pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church and president of the Council of Baptist Pastors of Detroit and vicinity. I and other faith leaders in this community are present today because we love our city. We're here calling on the Detroit Economic Club to respond to the recent disparaging remarks by former President Donald J. Trump when he stated, and I quote, "If you elect Kamala Harris, this nation will look like Detroit." Let's be clear that Detroit is a great city. And for any city in this nation to look like Detroit, that's a great look. Detroit is a community built on strength, resilience, and hope, and it deserves respect, not dishonest criticism that undermines its hardworking people. Lest we forget, Detroit is the city that gave the world great gospel music. Detroit is the city that gave the world the Motown sound. Detroit is the city that put the world on wheels. As many of you stand here and are viewing right now, we share the same testimony. We grew up in Detroit. We pastored in Detroit. And we love Detroit because Detroit is a phenomenal city that continues to rise despite all the challenges that we face. As Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. We will not sit silent, neither will we be idle, nor allow anybody to talk about our city in a negative light. Detroit, despite all our challenges, continues to produce some of the brightest and best in our nation. We're here because the Detroit Economic Club has the responsibility and the platform to make a difference. We urge them to take a stand against these harmful comments. Let's remind the world that Detroit's spirit is unbreakable, and together we will continue to move forward with pride and unity. Because in Detroit, we have shown the world so many times that we are better when we stand together. God bless you.
I'm Bishop Charles H. Ellis III, Senior Pastor of Greater Grace Temple of the City of David in Detroit, Michigan, as well as the former presiding bishop of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the world, the oldest oneness apostolic organization in the modern world. And I stand here today to call on all people of God, all creatures of God, whether you be Catholic or Protestant, whether you be Muslim or Jew, red and yellow, black and white, we're all precious in his sight. All of us have been born from the dust of this earth. God breathed into all of our nostrils the breath of life. And we must not get caught up into the dehumanization of one another. God created me as he created you. He created you as he created me. And we must get to a place of civilization and not let this individual who is divisive, this individual who is destructive. I don't want to call any of my brothers or sisters, whether they look like me or whether they have a mother from a brother from a different mother or a sister from a different mister. At the end of the day, we all were created by God. I will not refer to my brothers and sisters as aliens. I refer to them as my brothers and my sisters. And all of us who call ourselves Christians, or all of us who call ourselves Muslims or Jews, we must get to the place where we see that we only have one God. We have different faiths, we have different reformations, we have different theological beliefs and understandings, but at the end of the day, God is God, and he created each and every one of us. I pray that we will get to a place of civil disagreement, get to a place of civil mutual cooperation one with the other, and civil discussion where I can disagree with you but still know that you have value and you are a human being. I call on Detroit to stand up and to begin to move forward to push this election over the top with our votes. I say to every Detroiter, I say to Greater Grace Temple, and I say to you, God's not going to do for you what you can do for yourself. After you get done praying, you must get up and you must move to the polls and you must vote. God is going to honor your vote, but you must honor him by doing what you can do for yourselves. We have a saying, and I close, God is going to show up and show out. And I say to every Detroiter, after we have been insulted, after we have been misused and abused, taken for granted, it's time for us to show up and to show out. God bless you.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Glass, former president of the Council of Baptist Pastors, pastor of the El Bethel Church. I too stand today to say how offended we all were, not just by the ignorance and the communication that former President Trump said at Detroit Economic Club. You kind of expect some ignorance to come from ignorant people. However, we also expect people from Detroit to stand up for Detroit when people stand in your face and insult you to your face. And for the Detroit Economic Club to not respond in a strong way after hearing his remarks is insulting to us. And we challenge all Detroiters and challenge the world, as these other pastors and preachers have declared, to stand up, and let's stand together and stand against divisiveness, stand against those who would try to divide us and pick us apart just for their own well-being. This is a crucial time for us to make a difference in this time, in this generation, and we must pull together and encourage our young people to get out and to get involved, to get to vote. we're asking all the parents who have children who feel like they don't have a reason to vote, to listen. If you ain't gonna vote, if you won't vote for yourself, if you don't believe that Donald Trump, if you don't believe that Kamala Harris is the one for you, then vote for her for your mother's sake, for your grandfather's sake. Vote for them if you don't want to vote for yourself. We must get out and we must vote and we must have a voice, because this election will change our lives and change the generation to come. God bless you.
Thank you. If you guys have some questions, we'll entertain your questions.